everyone, the Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Marvel Legends X-Men Age of Apocalypse SHADOWCAT, part of the new Colossus Build-A-Figure wave. As with all of them, you got that nice open window that fully showcases her, all of her accessories, the Build-A-Figure piece right there, which, again, story time will be coming later on, but these two are actually quite an item. Of course, you got the logos right down there, right there at the top. You got a cool image of Kitty Pryde or SHADOWCAT right there. Apocalypse looming in the background. He even looms in the background of that. Come around the back of the package. Of course, you've got Magneto, and then these figures, which come with the Build-A-Figure piece to create the Marvel Legends version of the Age of Apocalypse Colossus, which, super excited about that. And then, again, you get a little bit of a read-up right there that says, after being captured by Sabretooth, Catherine Pryde becomes the youngest member of the X-Men and trains to become the team's ghost assassin. Not only does she do the training for herself, she also ends up creating a whole new team with her main man, Colossus, that being Generation Next, which was kind of an offshoot back in the day of Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters. It was another school. I think it was called Generation X. I don't think the series lasted too long. I got all the comics, or most of them at least. There's a lot of real cool characters in that. But even Jubilee left to join that group. But for the packaging on SHADOWCAT here, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get her out here and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, and here we have SHADOWCAT opened up and out of her packaging. And you know, throughout the entire Age of Apocalypse storyline, there is a lot of tragedy. And that is certainly the case here with Kitty Pryde. Originally orphaned because her parents were murdered while trying to hide the fact that she's a mutant, she subsequently was able to escape, only to be tracked down eventually by Sabretooth to Apocalypse. During that transport, though, she was rescued by the X-Men and Colossus. Going on to become the youngest member of the X-Men, Magneto had her train with Logan, or Weapon X, and she took to it very well, eventually become a very kind of key member of the team on one mission that pretty much resulted in a failure of sorts. Colossus ended up getting severely damaged by basically being frozen. When they got back to Magneto, you know, he was all protected and everything, but she decided that she wanted to leave the entire team. Having earlier lost her mentor, Weapon X, when he left the team, she really didn't want to risk anything with the man that she had started becoming very close to and fallen in love with. But Colossus basically begged her to stay. And Magneto decided to give him an alternate option than retiring. That being the new head of a new school to help train new recruits. That being the Generation Next cast. And she was rough. Well, both of them were. I mean, a Russian is a really tough drill sergeant of sorts. But her being trained by Logan or Weapon X really had a rough sort of style to her. It was then eventually that Magneto approached him to lead a mission to find a time traveler. That time traveler turned out to be Illyana Rasputin, the younger sister of Colossus, who he had thought had long been dead, but was in reality a prisoner of Apocalypse. While they went there to rescue her, they took their team of fresh recruits, kind of sent them off to battle, and then with these guys, he basically ordered her to phase the three of them, Colossus, her, and Illyana, out to safety. But SHADOWCAT did not like that. She felt like Colossus was willing to abandon the kids they had worked with because he had become so obsessed with saving and protecting Illyana. So Colossus basically said, hey, take Illyana, go. I'll go back. SHADOWCAT agreed, but unfortunately, he's the only one that showed up, which started making her think that he had abandoned the kids in favor of letting them get away. It's like Colossus was like, well, I'm not going to convince her to change her mind. I'll say I'll go back as long as you guys get out of here, and then I'll fight my way to safety, you know, and to hell with the kids, which really bothered her. It was at that time that Colossus then discovered that Magneto wanted to use Illyana to help rewrite the universe to get it back to the way it should have been before Professor Charles Xavier died, in another universe where Illyana was dead. And between Colossus and Magneto fighting, he wanted to try and save the living sister that he had, right there, in favor, he didn't want to give her up. So, right when he was about to go and attack Magneto, SHADOWCAT decided that she was going to step in the way. Believing that her husband would never hurt her, she didn't use her phasing powers. And when Colossus ran after him, very sadly crushed her to death. Again, like I said, tragedy. Very, very sad. But for the figure, as you can see, she does come with the main body of Colossus, and you can see that is going to be a pretty darn big figure. Again, we'll go through all of this here in a bit, but you're gonna there. I mean, it's like we're getting stuff. We got like the left side of them, so building that dude, which that's going to be fun. And she also does come with, as you can see, she's kind of got like this open hand and then another kind of clutching hand, which looks really cool. You also do get a pair of fists with her. You can see you got those little kind of like fingerless gloves, which that's kind of cool. Now, one thing that's really neat is through her training with Logan, they fitted her with these bracelets, which had claws in them. Now, I don't remember if these were adamantium or whatever. They were very sharp, and she used them a lot, but you can see that they are basically just bracelets of sorts. So you do have a pair of bracelets on her that have, I'm dropping it, that have just the sculpted detail where you can see where the claws would come out. And then you have these, which you can see that the plastic is a little warped, but you can see claws very much like Wolverine's. So let's swap that out. Really very cool that they gave you this. I mean, you got the big giant body. Again, there's like not a lot of consistency with what they're doing with the accessories. So her being a female figure, that's a slightly smaller figure. You would think that they would give more stuff with her, which, kind of offsets that price, which makes sense because you get the main body of Colossus here. So getting these extra accessories is really cool, but then you get somebody like Cyclops, which really doesn't come with a lot, which is really unfortunate. But this might be one of my favorite head sculpts. This looks absolutely incredible. Coming in to take a closer look at that, you'll focus, there we go. That looks really very cool. She's kind of got this like weird look, like it's like utter disgust, like I'm disgusted at you for killing me, Colossus. Bleh. But I really do like that. Very nice paint on there, very soft, very cool looking. You can see you got a nice paint coloring for the skin. That looks really good. But then when you come down to the arms and the suit, you get kind of a metallic sheen on there, which does look really nice. The belt section here is a separate piece, so that kind of flops around a little bit. You can also see that the bracelets are done up in kind of like a reflective sort of plastic, which does look good. And then the rest of the body you can see is just done up in this bluish, purplish color. It's accurate. It's the way that it should look, so I can't really complain about it. But again, really a fun character that just had a tragic ending. It's really very sad. Especially, since, like, I mean, they loved each other so much, and it was just one of those things where he loved his sister so much as well, and he was willing to fight for her. So I don't know. That's a tough one, honestly. Articulation wise, you can see that she does have a ball joint here. She doesn't have that neck cut that a lot of them do, and I think that's pretty good of a choice. I mean, because you can see you do get a good range of motion with that neck, and if you put that cut in there, that would just kind of break up that look there, which does look really nice. You do have the pin hinge joints here for the shoulders. You do have the hinge as well. Let's get that, the hinge and rotation at the elbow. The wrists do rotate and then have the hinge. She does have a little bit of a upper diaphragm ball joint, but you don't get a lot of range of motion with it. I mean, there is some tilting. Oh damn, that looks cool. It's like she's about to just pounce on you. I mean, that is, man, that's my thumbnail right there. I better remember that. But you also do have, there's nothing in terms of a waist, but then you do have the hips, the rotation at the upper part of the thigh, 2 bends at the knee itself, and of course, the hacky sack pose. So, how did I do that? That's a good pose. That's a damn good pose, Paul. I'm proud of you. Now, if I can just get her to actually balance and stand, that'll be nice too. Come on, are you gonna stand? Come on, please stand. Please stand. I wanna be one of those cool posers. I'm a poser. That bless it. Maybe that'll do it. No, maybe. That's not as cool. That's not as cool. But I mean that does look neat. I don't know why. But again, a fun figure, really cool looking. The detail looks fantastic. The paint on it is really good. Like I said, I think that this head sculpt might be one of my favorites in this line. It just looks good. And of course, you got to get her to get a big chunk of the body. And what better way to have a Colossus figure than to have his wife as well? So absolutely, I would recommend picking her up. She is, in my opinion, an absolute must-have. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. There's your look at the new Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure Wave, Kitty Pryde, otherwise known as SHADOWCAT. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching and tuning in. Before you go, I'd really appreciate if you would do one more thing, and that's just to hit that thumbs up button. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.